Ay, 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 ay.
All right, guys, how's it going? I'm the Crown Clown, and we're back with another What If Deku Was Demifiend video. The support you guys showed that last video was amazing. It was just astonishing out the gate, and there's a reason why this one's coming out today instead of Grimmjow, because this one had more demand for a part 2 than Grimmjow did. So, with that being said, I hope you guys are going to enjoy. I've made my decisions on which demons Deku and Shinzo are going to have. And so, let me give you guys a brief rundown on their demons. So, Deku has a total of 4. Shinzo has a total of 3. Deku's demons are as follows. You have Pixie. You have Cerberus. You have Succubus, and then you have Jack Frost. And there will be more demons added over time, but I'm going to be the one who decides those, because I already have a good idea on where I want to go. Because if you think about it, Deku and Shinzo are two sides of the same coin. They both have similar powers now, with Shinzo being a devil summoner and Deku being the Demifiend. Just in their ability to summon demons, they're very similar, but Deku is still far more powerful. So, with that, we get on to Shinzo's demons. Shinzo's demons are as follows. He has Phoenix, he has Kopa Tengu, and he has Raiju. Now, Loki is going to be a demon he gets later on. I looked back at the level, and Loki's way too over-leveled for Shinzo to handle right now. But he might just surprise a bit of you guys with how he summons Phoenix, because Phoenix is going to be his most powerful demon. So, with that out of the way, let's get back into a recap. So, where we left off last time was Deku sitting in class after being told by Nezu that if he has one more fuck up, he's out. And everyone's just covering up for Bakugo, but Aizawa tells him that he needs to show people just how much stronger he is than Bakugo. And with the Heroes vs. Villains event happening soon, well, there's going to be a few things that Aizawa's going to try to pull to get Deku to fight Bakugo and dethrone Nezu's little bitch pet. So, this is where we pick up. So, after class that day, they all head back home, but Shinzo and Deku, they take the long route home. And Deku's like, okay, I'm about to summon out some new demons today. As Shinzo asks Deku, I need more powerful demons. I can't keep rocking with Raiju. I'm not going to get very far. And Deku says, well, your way of summoning is a lot different than mine. So, yeah, you make your contracts through demons wanting to be there for you. I beat them into submission and make them serve me. And Shinzo's like, wait, you literally just fist fight some motherfucking demons? And Deku's like, yeah, I fist fight them. And Shinzo's just like, you are one crazy motherfucker. And Deku's just like, well, true, but that's the only way I can summon them. And basically Shinzo's just like, okay, I understand that, but still, you are one crazy ass motherfucker. And Deku says, well, I'm not going to object to that. So, that's said and done, and Shinzo Deku, they're having fun. They're just like out getting some drinks and renting a movie, because they're going to Deku's place, because Shinzo's parents are really just not giving a fuck what Shinzo does. So they're gonna go watch a movie all night at fucking Deku's place, eating snacks and drinking some shit. So yeah, and plus the demons are gonna have a little party. But anyway, Deku gets home, Shinzo's getting everything set up. Deku says, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and do my summoning. And Shinzo says, okay, man, sure. I'll get everything set up and ready. And Deku says, alright, just know it might take a little bit. And Shinzo's like, dude, I got all night. Like, I really don't care. And Deku's like, understandable. I'll be back. So he heads down to where Lucifer's at. And Lucifer says, so, are you ready? Deku says, yeah, it's time. I need some high-level ones. And Lucifer tells him, I know just one that could help you in your situation. And Deku's like, oh? Who? And Lucifer says, Cerberus. So, how about it? You want to fight him? As Deku says, yeah, sure, let's fight Cerberus. So, when Deku gets down in the arena, he's just in his shorts and his shoes. He's ready for Cerberus. As Cerberus enters the arena, he says, you're who are supposed to be my opponent. You dare try to be my master. As Deku says, I don't dare try. I will be your master. As Cerberus says, not in a million years. Deku says, I like this one. Defiant. And Cerberus says, I'm loyal to whoever can tame me. You do not have the skills. Deku says, bring it. So, the fight begins as Cerberus tries his best, but he soon finds out how outclassed he is by Deku. As Deku throws Cerberus around, Cerberus whacks Deku with his tail, and Deku just goes flying back. Like, he's just like surprised at how hard Cerberus actually hits. Cerberus tries to sink his fangs into Deku. Deku picks him up and slams him into the ground. As Cerberus tries to let out fire, Deku just walks right through it. As he says, yeah, elemental magic has no effect on me. Actually, elemental attacks of any kind have no effect on me, including quirks. And Cerberus says, you are truly a strong one indeed. Very well, I submit to you. As Deku says, join me, Cerberus. We shall rule this world. As Cerberus says, ruling the world. Sounds like Lucifer's rubbed off on you. Deku says, well, when I mean rule, I do mean rule it in a different type of way than that. And Cerberus says, what other way is there to rule? As Deku says, well, technically, if you're the number one out of everyone in the nations, technically, you do rule the world, because everyone's going to look up to you. You could pretty much get away with whatever. And Cerberus says, you aim to subjugate them from the shadows while basking in their light. I see. And Deku's like, yeah, pretty much. How about it? As Cerberus says, I accept. And Deku says, hey, Dad. As Lucifer says, I'm not your dad, but... Wait. Lucifer thinks about it. He's like, well, technically I could be your dad. You have my DNA overriding half of your DNA, which is your father's half. So, yes, technically I am your father. As Deku just says, yeah, kind of figured. But anyway, I need another one. As Lucifer says, well, and this is when Succubus just runs over to the rails and said, I'll join. And Deku's like, Succubus? Well now, you could actually be beneficial. Alright, I'll take Succubus with me. As Lucifer says, fine choices. So, that brings your total number up to 4, correct? As Deku says, yeah. Over time, I'll make contracts with more, but this is good for right now. And Lucifer says, you know you could hold up to 20 of them if you really wanted to, right? Deku says, yes, I know I could hold up to 20 of them and summon between them, but at the same time, I'm not ready for all those voices in my head quite yet. And Lucifer says, understood. Well now, it seems Shinzo's trying to summon out some of his. As Lucifer just looks and says, wow, he's progressed quite nicely. He's up to level 20 to 25 now. As Deku says, really, that quickly? Before too long he might catch up to me. I'll need to step it up to summon even higher ones. As Lucifer tells him, get strong enough, you might be able to summon Satan. He's been gone for centuries, doesn't really care about the world anymore. Not God nor hell. He doesn't care about anything but being left alone. Who knows? Get strong enough, he might just submit to you. As Deku says, really? Satan, huh? You mean the guy with the 10 heads? As Lucifer says, yes. But that's left for a later date of discussion, my boy. Deku says, understood. Anyway, help him out, would you? As Kopa Tengu walks up to Deku and says, what's that guy like? Deku says, well, he was quite lonely when I met him, full of self-doubt and pity. He's gotten over that, though. He's working hard to make sure people don't look down on him, or call him things that ain't true. He's very righteous. Honestly, he's the most honorable guy I've ever met. And Kopa Tengu says, I shall work with him then. As Shinzo's scrolling through his app, Kopa Tengu just pops up and Shinzo clicks on it, and basically, Kopa Tengu tells Deku he's accepted my contract. I am bound to him now. As Deku says, good. I hope you guys get along. As Kopa Tengu says, if he is a man of honor, we shall. So, basically, Deku heads back up to where Shinzo's at after he gets dressed, and Shinzo's like, so, how'd it go? Deku smiles and says, I scored 2 of them. And Shinzo's just like, 2? I scored 1. As Deku says, I know. I had to talk to him. And Shinzo's like, oh, you mean you only referred him to me? Which means I didn't get him at all. And Deku says, well, it's up to them personally if they stick around or turn against you. So really, it's up to them, not me. And basically, Shinzo says, alright. Deku says, alright, but enough demon talk for now. Let's summon out these new boys and girls and get them acquainted. So, with Cerberus, Succubus, Pixie, and Jack Frost out from Deku's side, Kopa Tengu and basically Raiju out on Shinzo's field. So yeah, because Shinzo doesn't have Phoenix yet, but Phoenix was listening in about Shinzo. But he's not all about taking somebody else's word for it. He's actually waiting to see Shinzo's actions. So, they have a movie night. Cerberus is actually pretty content with his new master. He feeds him right. He's just letting him take it easy at the moment to recover. But, yeah. So, they all have a bonding night. And the next day comes. Shinzo, Deku walk to school. Not a whole lot happens. Nezu's just watching Deku, giving him the stink eye. Deku just blows off the little fucking mouse as he just says, alright, fuck this guy. And, yeah, so he's just walking on about that, and not much happens till it's the end of the week. That's when All Might bursts into the room, and Deku, when he sees All Might, he remembers when he used to be fanboying over him as a kid. But seeing him in person, he doesn't understand why he ever fanboyed over that man in the first place. Even Shinzo is not impressed with him. Ever since Shinzo's become a demon summoner, he really hasn't been impressed with all that many pro heroes lately. Because he's been hearing tales about the old days, the old demon summoners from his demons, who used to serve them, actually. And Shinzo's actually looking more up to those guys than he does any of the other pro heroes. Because he says those guys were actual heroes fighting for humanity's survival. And honestly, the demon summoners, the Demifiend, like all that has been wiped from history. Nobody knows about them anymore. The only way you could ever find out about them is through the demons themselves, which they haven't been on Earth in centuries either. So really, this is a big learning point for Shinzo. Deku already knows about it all, and he does reinforce what the demons are saying to Shinzo. So All Might explains it's going to be a heroes versus villains day, and Aizawa says, yeah, All Might and myself will be watching over the events. As Shinzo says, so how is this going to work? And All Might says, I'll explain everything on the practice field. Get out there and show your threads. After all, that's what really makes the hero. As Deku says, if clothing makes the heroes, then what good are the heroes themselves? As All Might says, you really don't know figure of speeches that well, do you, kid? And Deku says, no, I'm just not about false flattery. As All Might just says, it's not false flattery, and Deku says, well then which is it? Figure of speech or false flattery? Can't be both. As All Might's actually kind of in a pickle here, because everyone's looking at him for an answer, and Deku kind of just like caught him in a two-pronged attack, verbally, and All Might doesn't know which way to say it, because either way, it's false flattery, or it's just a very shallow meaning of the hero. So, All Might thinks about it really hard, and he says, okay, here it is. False flattery is not what it is, because the threads really do make the hero, because how else will everybody know if you're a hero or not if you don't have a hero costume? But the costume itself is not enough to really make a hero great. To make a hero great, it's their actions. There we go. And Deku says that's the most fucking textbook answer anybody could ever find. And everyone's just like, man, quit hating on All Might, you hater. And Deku's like, hater? Okay, I see this. I see how this is gonna go. So he gets into the changing room, and everyone's just like, yo, what's your deal with All Might? And Deku's like, look, I'm just not big on hypocrites, alright? So leave me alone, man. Unless you want to fight me, fuck out of me. So basically, everyone's just like stares at Deku, hates him, and Shinzo says, you guys are all seriously pathetic. As soon as a hero says anything, you just automatically fanboy over it, and you guys think that that is the fucking word of God right from their mouth. It's not, trust me. Heroes today, they're nothing like they used to be in the past. Hell, you don't even know our own history's been erased. And everyone's just like, what do you mean? Quirks are stronger now than ever before. Deku says, yeah, but you guys don't even know why they're stronger. And everyone's just looking and says, what, and you do? Deku says, yeah, I do. Shinzo says, I do as well. And they're just like, yeah, right, there's no way you guys could ever know that reason. You guys are just idiots. Quit trying to act like you know it all. And Deku's just like, okay, I see this. And this is when Bakugo really just throws his weight around and just says, all you are is a violent delinquent dropout, and all your little buddy there is with the purple hair is just a depressed little dog who just follows you around everywhere. Oh, I get it. He your boyfriend? Deku says, motherfucker, he's my brother. And if you ever disrespect me like this again, oh, you know what? Just wait. I have a feeling me and you are going to throw down today. And when we do, trust me, I haven't forgot shit. That time in elementary school you sent me to the hospital, and every time everybody's just covering for you. Even the principal here seems to be covering for your fucking ass. You're the least heroic person I've ever fucking met. And you act like you're the big shot here who's gonna go far. All you are is just a pathetic Endeavor wannabe. And Shoto hears that. He says, wait, you look up to Endeavor? And Bakugo says, yeah, what about it, bitch? And basically, Todoroki says, I'm Endeavor's son. Fuck off. He's not a man you want to look up to. Trust me, he's really not. And basically, Deku just says, so, Endeavor's son. Well, it just reinforces what I've always felt about him if his own son's saying it. And Todoroki just says, don't get it twisted here now, like, I'm not going to let anybody speak bad about my dad because that speaks bad about me. As Deku says, trust me, I ain't going to speak bad about you. Speaking bad about one's parents does not speak bad of the child, as each one has individual actions that differentiate themselves from the other. And basically, Todoroki, he just says, the fuck are you going on about? And Deku says, think about it. If you're the son of Endeavor and you have his fire quirk, you hate the man so much if you don't want to use it, that's a pretty dumb reason. And Todoroki, he doesn't tell anybody he has a fire quirk whatsoever. Nobody knows that Todoroki has that whole quirk thing, but basically, Todoroki says, okay, theoretically speaking, if I did and didn't use it, and it was because of that reason, how would that be stupid? And Deku says, oh, that's simple. Because it's part of you, not part of him. Which just says that you hate yourself. For no real reason. So, honestly, fuck out of here with that pity shit. If you honestly think that you can beat everybody without using your full power, you're a fucking moron. And you're just gonna get your ass whooped. And Todoroki's like, okay, how about you shut the fuck... And Shinzo says, why don't you shut up? And Todoroki's like, what? And Shinzo activates his quirk. And he just tells him, shut up. Get dressed and leave. Todoroki shuts up, he gets dressed, and he leaves. And then Shinzo undoes his quirk. And Todoroki's like, the fuck just happened? And everyone's just like, yo, that motherfucker's got a villain quirk too. What the fuck? Yo, you guys the villain brothers? You know what? That's what we're gonna call you. The villain brothers. So, Deku just gets dressed, Shinzo gets dressed, and yeah. It's basically, Shinzo's attire in this is actually like, he's wearing all black, but his gauntlets on his wrist are actually touchscreen based, where he can summon his demons off of his gauntlets and not having to rely on his cell phone. So, yeah. When he's not in his hero outfit, he relies on his cell phone. When he is in his hero costume, he relies on the two gauntlets with the digital interfaces. And he basically just has that voice changing thing because he's thought ahead about that. So, yeah. That's basically Shinzo's outfit. As for Deku, Deku's really just casual wear at this point. He's just wearing a fucking hoodie, some pants, and some shoes. That's all he's gonna wear. Like, he really doesn't see the whole reason as to dress out in anything really flashy or all that. After all, it's not really like that. Everyone's just looking at Deku like he's the odd man out. And Deku says, as far as I'm concerned, I'm one of the only normal ones here. And everyone's just like, man, you can't be any less original, can you? And Deku says, hey, don't hate me. After all, I'm about to show you all up. As always says, so we've already done preparing. And basically, they're just like, okay, who's the pairings? And basically, they say, one of you guys will have a 3-on-2 fight, and one of you will have a 1-on-2 fight. As basically, they're just like, what? How is that fair to them? And as always says, this came straight down from the principal. But I get to choose who the student fights. So, in the first match, the villain team will be Bakugo Katsuki and Kirishima. As basically, Kirishima and Bakugo just like, oh sweet, we're teamed up together, but we're villains. And he says, the two of you will fight Izuku Midoriya. And basically, Deku's just like, oh yes, this is Merry fucking Christmas to me. I get to go up against you two most talkative motherfuckers on here. Get ready to eat that fucking shit that you were saying, boy. I'm about to beat you guys like a fucking drum. And All Might's just like, you have a very villainous attitude. And Deku's like, I don't see things in heroes or villains. I see it as lawful, neutral, chaotic. I'm a chaotic neutral. So, I literally just do whatever my best interest. I don't really pick a side. And All Might says, then why are you even here? Why don't you just go join a villain team? And Deku's like, wow, pro hero telling a student to go join a villain team. How fucking original. Oh, and you're supposed to be the symbol of peace, yet you want a new villain out on the streets? Wow. Okay. And basically, Shinzo recorded that whole conversation right there. And before All Might can even correct himself, Shinzo's uploaded it onto the internet. Because Shinzo's not playing games. Like, he's gonna even the score with everybody against Deku. He's gotta have his back. And nobody knows it's Shinzo doing it, because they don't know the full capabilities of his outfit. All they know is it's a digital interface with sonar mapping. That's all they know. But Shinzo's put in a whole voice recorder, the demon summoning app, everything that's on that bitch. Because it's literally just his phone's interface on gauntlets. So of course he can record audio. And basically Aizawa just says, All Might, you're out of line. And All Might gets in Aizawa's face and he says, no, we need to teach this kid respect. After all he's thinking about is hurting people. And Aizawa says, then what's the point of this exercise if no one's going to get hurt? And All Might's just like, they don't need to go for blood. And Aizawa gets up in All Might's face and he says, and you need to sit down and shut up. Alright? We follow the rules that are put here for us, as much as we don't like them. Understand? You are the number one hero. That means you get away with more shit than anybody else here. But in this class, in this school, you are second to me. You will listen to what I say, and you will obey the rules that I lay down. Do I make myself fucking clear? And All Might's just like, that's a big mouth. You gonna back it up? And basically, Deku grabs All Might by the shoulder and sits him down. And he says, you're not gonna talk to my teacher that way. He said to sit down and shut up. You do it. All Might looks surprised and everyone's shocked. Like, he just sat down All Might. But Bakugo pops up. He caught him off guard. Anybody could do that through martial arts, which he's taken. And everyone's just like, oh, okay, yeah, he's not that strong. And Deku's like, motherfuckers, what? Okay. Aizawa Sensei, can we start this shit? Aizawa says, villains, take your places. You heard him. Everyone's like, but who's the other teams? Aizawa says, we'll go on a team-to-team basis. Understand? And they're just like, okay, sure. So, yeah. Anyway, that happens. And they're all just kind of like, man, this guy is fucking dick. Deku's just stretching. He's getting ready. And basically, he's not going to reveal all his activities, but Deku just says, you know what? 2-on-1's kind of unfair. How about I even the playing field a bit? And All Might's just like, sorry, but can't do that. No other students. And I'm not talking about a student. He just says, come to me, Cerberus. And Cerberus appears out of thin air. Everyone's just like, wait a minute, what? And Shinzo's just like, oh, Cerberus. As Cerberus walks over to Shinzo and says, hello, Shinzo. It's nice to see you again. Oh, is this your class? As Deku says, hey, Cerberus, we're going to be put through the test today. And Cerberus says, of course, I am ready for combat, Master. As All Might says, hold up, what is that thing? And Deku says, it's part of my power. After all, we're allowed to use them, right? Aizawa says, yep, anything that's part of your own power, you can use it. And Deku just says, perfect. So, the time limit's up. Deku gets to go in with Cerberus. And All Might's pretty fucking scared because Koda, he tries to talk to Cerberus to tell him to go easy. He can't get through. And that's shocking him that his own quirk's not able to talk to that animal. And he tells everybody he can't talk to that animal, but he can talk to all other animals. And Shinzo says, oh, that's no animal. As, like, what is it then? And Shinzo says, you'll see soon enough. Just watch. This won't take long. As Deku's just walking through the hallways with Cerberus, and Cerberus can smell Bakugo, and he says, he's coming. Deku says, which one? Cerberus says, the loud explosive one. Deku says, cool. Let's teach him a lesson in pain, shall we? Cerberus says, of course, Master. So, as soon as Bakugo jumps out at him, Deku grabs him by the face and slams him into the ground and kicks him up from his stomach. And that's when Cerberus grabs Bakugo, digging his claws into Bakugo's shoulder and biting in to that, trap muscles that's on your shoulder. Yeah, he bites into that and tears out a chunk of Bakugo's flesh. As Bakugo's screaming out in pain, Cerberus latches on and pushes Bakugo to the ground. Deku squats right there in front of Bakugo, and he says, looks like it hurts. I seem to remember a long time ago, you often used to do shit that hurt me. And whenever I was in pain, whenever I begged you to stop, you didn't do it, did you? And All Might's listening into all this, and so is Aizawa. And Deku tells him, say my name. As Bakugo just says, fucking Deku. And Deku just bitch slaps him so hard he knocks out some teeth and blood just goes everywhere. And he says, that's not my name. I told you. Tell me my name. And Bakugo's just like, fucking Deku. And Deku bitch slaps him with the other hand, knocking out even more teeth and blood. And Deku says, final chance. Say my name. And basically Kirishima's running down to get Bakugo because he can hear everything that's going on. And basically Kirishima gets there right as Deku just grabs Bakugo by the skull and is about to just put so much pressure on it, as Deku just tells Cerberus, go get him. So Cerberus is going after Kirishima as he releases his hold on Bakugo, as Bakugo screams out in pain, tears running down his eyes, as all he is having is flashbacks to when him and Deku were kids. And he's just like, it was just for fun, Deku. I promise. And Deku says, I've told you. That's not my fucking name. As he slams him into the ground and stomps his stomach as Bakugo pukes up blood. And Bakugo just weakly aims his gauntlet at Deku, pulls the pin, and Deku takes the full force of an even stronger blast, which just blows the whole fucking top floor up. As All Might's just like, we gotta go in there. As Deku just says, no, I'm still here. As when everything clears, the only thing that happened was, to Deku anyway, it just blew off his hoodie. So Deku's there shirtless now. And all those markings that's all over his body, everyone can see for the first time. Like, clearly. Aizawa sees it, All Might sees it, all the girls see it, and all the guys. And they're just looking at, like, what? And Aizawa gets a vague impression from Deku that he might be something demonic. And to be honest, like, Deku's just staring at Bakugo. He just sees Bakugo there in tears, terrified. And Deku, he's loving every second of it. As for Kirishima, yeah, Cerberus is tearing him apart. Literally just has him on the ground, claws digged into him, breaking through his hardening quirk, pinned him. As Cerberus just says, "Have you ever been burned before, Rock Boy?" And basically Kirishima's like, "What do you mean?" As he just uses Agi on him, which is a fire-based spell, and Kirishima screams in pain. Luckily, he still has his hardening quirk on, but yeah, the fire still hurts him, as Kirishima's just in so much pain right now, as basically everyone's just watching this one-sided brutal beatdown. And All Might says, Stop the match," as he rushes in there, and he just says, "This match is over." As Deku just says, "Cerberus, that's enough." So Cerberus disappears, and all that's left is Deku. As All Might says, "Young man, you've gone too far. You're expelled." As Aizawa says, "No, he's not." And basically All Might's like, "How can you defend this?" As Aizawa just tells him, for one, everyone in this entire school is stacking the odds against that kid. Number two, All Might, you might want to worry about your own career more than that kid. As All Might's just like, "What do you mean?" As Aizawa shows him the article that's already been typed up. All Might telling student to become villain. All Might's in a scandal now. As All Might's jaw just drops, and he's just like, "How did that?" As Shinzo just says, "I even the odds for him. You guys want to keep stacking it up? I'll even the playing field, motherfuckers. Don't fuck with us." And after all, you saw what Bakugo did. Any semblance of you saying that Deku went too far was immediately blown out the window as soon as he unleashed that gauntlet attack. He blew up the whole fucking building. If it had been anybody else but Deku, he would have killed them. As All Might says, "But it was him that drove it," and Aizawa says, "No, it wasn't. Bakugo had every choice not to. He could have just surrendered. Deku would have let him go." Deku says, "I really would have. I'm not that mean of a person to just deny a person a surrender." As for Kirishima, he's not in any real damage. Like, I can heal him just fine. As All Might's like, "You can't heal this." As Deku says, "I can, actually." As he says, "Pixie," and Pixie appears. As he tells Pixie, "Go ahead, heal them up for me." As Pixie says, "Right away." So Pixie casts her healing magic, which heals Bakugo and Kirishima fully. And Deku says, "See, I can beat them nearly to death and just heal them back from it just fine. It's really not that hard of a thing for me to do." As All Might's just like, "You never intended to permanently hurt them, did you?" Deku says, "No, I'm not a fucking villain. Alright? I aim to be the #1 hero. Why is that, you ask? So that way I make sure that these bullying motherfuckers don't get their way. That they don't set the norm for people to be continually bullying other people like Endeavor does. And you defended a motherfucker. Despite knowing what he did in the past, you defended him tooth and nail. And what's furthermore, you told me to just go and become a villain. I proved everyone in here wrong. Sure, I may have beaten this man a bit too hard, I may have went a little too far, but at the end of the day, I also was the motherfucker that healed this guy. Both of them. So next time you want to get in my face, next time you want to tell me to go off and be a villain somewhere, you might want to look into the mirror, assuming you still have a career after this. As Aizawa says, yeah, basically. And now everybody's kind of just like shocked at Deku, and they're really just like, okay, this is actually starting to get a bit too real. Like, is this really what Hero Society is like? And Aizawa says, yeah, you guys want to be heroes? You're seeing what it's like to be a pro right now. You constantly have to watch what you say. You have to make sure that you're not inciting people to become villainous in general. What All Might did is not the symbol of a true hero, and it sure as hell wasn't the symbol of peace. As All Might's just like, I'm sorry. I need to be excused. So he hands the reins back over to Aizawa. And yeah, so the next match is like Aoyama and Toru versus Ida and Uraraka. So yeah, they actually end up winning a lot. So Ida and Uraraka win that match. Next match we'll have is Shinzo and Mina versus Todoroki, Momo, and Kaminari. So with this fight, it's actually a lot different because it's a 3-on-2. As Mina looks at Shinzo and just says, let's do our best, even though we're at a disadvantage. And Shinzo says, yeah, let's do our best. So he's not one to immediately pull out a demon, but he says, hey, could I ask you a favor? And she says, sure, what is it? He says, could you leave the fighting with Todoroki to me? And she's like, wait, you want to take on Todoroki? And he says, yeah, leave that to me, please. And she says, sure, I don't have a problem with it. So, yeah, the fighting, it starts. And basically, Todoroki's just like, alright, I'm just going to flash freeze this whole place. And Shinzo just says, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And he's just like, why is that? And Mina says, because I could just melt it with my acid. And on top of that, you'd end up freezing your own teammates as well. And leaving them wide open. As basically, Todoroki just thinks that they're bluffing. He says, I'm gonna do it anyway. But that's when Shinzo just says, you flash freeze this place, I'll call out my demons. As Todoroki just says, wait, what? Shinzo just says, wanna see if it's true? Come on in and find out. As Denki just says, you know what? I think he's bluffing. I'm gonna go up in there. So Kaminari ends up running in. Momo just says, don't go by yourself. I'll go with you. And Todoroki's like, damn it. He drew them in. So, yeah. Now Todoroki's whole plan went out the window. So, basically, Todoroki's having to walk behind them, and he's getting annoyed with him having two idiot teammates in his mind. So, with that out of the way, Mina goes to fight Kaminari and Momo. Well, it doesn't go too hot for her right off the bat, because she's having to dodge Kaminari's electricity, and Momo's just using her creation quirk to really just mess with Mina bad. So, what does Shinzo do? He says, Kengu, go out there, help her. As he says, right away, you are an honorable man indeed. And he also summons Raiju and says, make sure that lightning doesn't hit her, or electricity, whatever it is, nullify it. As he says, sure thing. So he sent both of his demons out there to help Mina. As Mina gets terrified, but she soon realizes they're there to help her. But they're not all that brutal like Deku's are. So she says, okay, this is actually pretty cool. And Shinzo says, yeah, I can't let you have all that fighting and be left open to her. Especially since you really can't get close and personal with them, or far away or mid-range. You would have lost. I look after my teammates. As she says, thank you. So Shinzo's running over there to try and get the drop on Todoroki. But Todoroki's already figured out Shinzo's quirk. So he's not going to fall for the same thing twice. Especially since he's not about to talk to Shinzo. He's just going to freeze him on sight. So Shinzo's having to dodge and run from all of Todoroki's ice. And he does try to go hand to hand with Todoroki. But he literally just gets his ass kicked. And right when Shinzo's about to lose, he just says, anyone, I need your help now. As that's when Phoenix arrives. And Phoenix just says, I've heard your cry. You are indeed a man of honor, worthy to be my master. I shall forge this contract with you. Now summon me. Call out my name. And Shinzo just says, rise, Phoenix! As Phoenix arises and melts all the ice in the areas, Todoroki's just like, great. You call a firebird? As basically Todoroki tries to freeze, but Phoenix uses a fire magic spell which just collides and melts all of the ice. As Shinzo grabs Todoroki's arm, sweeps the leg, and wraps him up in the capture tape, winning. As Todoroki realizes he just lost. And Mina hears that Todoroki lost, and basically Raiju just nerfed Kaminari to the point to where he just like, yeah, Kaminari's out of it. As for Momo, like Topa Kengu, or yeah, I probably butchered that name several times in this video, but oh well. He literally just uses his wind magic, and Mina grabs Momo up in the capture tape and captures her. So, that means Shinzo's team wins. As for everybody else, you could really just like match them up however you'd like. I'm not really going to go that deep into matching them all up, because this is actually drawing out pretty long, but hey, that's what we're here for. So, after everybody's done and they changed back, they actually demand to know, what type of powers do Deku and Shinzo have? And Deku just says, it's just part of our power. Nothing you need to worry about. And they're just like, let us have that power. And Deku says, no. And they're just like, what do you mean no? And Deku says, by no, I mean no. Are you deaf? Can you not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You guys don't seem to get it at all. This isn't a playdate. This isn't something that can just, oh, I can have this now, which means I can be strong now. No, this is a life or death contract you're making, and you don't know the first damn thing about it. How are you so fucking stupid? How the fuck did any of you, anywhere, get anything in life? You guys are just disgraces to heroes, aren't you? As Deku just says, you don't get it. This city, it's afraid of me. I've seen its true face. The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood. And when the drains finally scab over, all the vermin will drown. The accumulated filth of all their sex and murder will foam up about their waist. and all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll look down and whisper, "No." You see, I'm not the same as any of you, because I believe that only the just shall be saved, that strength is what determines things, but not all the way. You need to be righteous. You need to have a goal that is set to improve the world more than where you found it, more than where you left it at. You entered this world, and sure, it may have been okay, but when you exit it, will it just be okay? Will you have made no significant improvements upon this world? Will you have just sat there and let the scatters just everything boil over? Let this melting pot of a city explode? Or are you just going to sit there and let everything that everyone has worked hard to maintain and build be the same or degrade? Will you not improve it? Will you not leave this world better than when you entered it? Isn't that what heroes are supposed to do? Aren't heroes supposed to be out there trying to make the world a better place? Or are you all just too selfish to understand that simple concept? Are you all too arrogant to think that, oh, if I become a hero, I'll get fame, fortune, they'll love me, they'll accept me? No, you're wrong. That isn't what happens. Just because when you get famous doesn't mean they'll immediately love you, that they'll accept you. Hell, it's just a flip of the coin with them. I don't give a fuck what people say about me, so that flip of the coin doesn't really matter what side it's on. I make the best out of both situations. As for you guys are so up in arms about approval, acceptance, this, that. You want to be able to say, I'm the best one here, I'm the best one there, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. All you are is just yapping your fucking gums and speaking out false pretenses. You're sickening. You judge me, but you don't understand a damn thing about this world. You all think quirks evolved on their own. No, there was a deterrent force, a driving factor in all of this. Humanity was almost brought to the brink of extinction several times over throughout history with demons that I'm using, but it was saved by people using those same demons to fight back against those forces. You know nothing about history, and you claim to know this world. You don't know the first damn thing. You're all still infants. You don't know what is really out there. There are forces beyond your comprehension, and you don't even begin to understand the starting line of where we're at. And you never will, because you don't care to. All you guys are is pathetic. And that's where I'm leaving it off. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I'm the Crown Clown. I hope you guys will like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and join the Discord. Links will be in the description. As always, I hope to see you guys again next time. Peace.